If the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say this was their finest hour.
We stand for Queen,
country, and video games. BRB UK.
Worse teeth,
Better accents.
Hello and indeed ahoy hoy ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 250 the second. It's not 250 or 250. Well, actually it's 252, but that... Tim, why
Dan!
is... Say hello to Tim. Why is...
Dan!
252... No, we shall introduce our special guest in a moment. We've just got to do some housekeeping about how the number 252 works.
Oh,
okay.
This is important then. Okay, well,
Okay,
at least
it
it's
is.
important.
Clearly 252.
Well, she just can't wait. It's Mrs. Hibbs, it's Alex, hello.
Hello.
I'm officially a gooseberry. I'm the super awkward guy who's come out and hanging around with you two while you're trying to have a nice night on the town.
On our bicycle.
I am the third wheel. I am the third wheel on your unicycle.
My red alert was we seem to have lost a Coleman.
We have.
For anyone that doesn't know and hasn't been listening to the last couple of weeks, he has started a new job. It is going to make things impossible to record for the next couple of weeks and tricky going forward. We will try and find a solution going forward, but we have definitely lost him for a number of weeks. We will tell you what that number is when it ends.
He won't tell us what his job is either. Which
I've told him he can't tell you he's a secret agent.
So what I want?
What do you not
every
understand
week,
about this, Dan?
I would like a suggestion from our listeners about what job Coleman is doing this week.
It's got to be kept secret, so it's got to be secret agent. That's the only job with the word secret in, Dan.
No, but if we keep on guessing, we're going to find it eventually.
The clue's in the title.
I reckon this week his job is measuring the girth of trout.
Not exciting enough. Okay, I'm a listener. I can make suggestions. I think he's a spaceman and he's hunting space dragons.
Interesting.
There you go.
Nice.
Okay, good, Alex. That's fantastic. Brilliant. And I have a question.
No more LSD for you.
He knows what it is in referencing when he listens to it. It's fine. Me and Coleman, we know what we're talking about.
Space dragons. How do space dragons breathe fire?
I don't know.
Don't be silly,
To
Dan.
be discovered.
How can they breathe fire? Well, they can't breathe fire in space.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How do you know they're actually dragons?
Not every dragon breathes fire, Dan. Just fire-breathing dragons. That's why they're called fire-breathing dragons.
Oh my God.
The clue is in the name.
No, name me a dragon who doesn't breathe fire.
It was a silly reference. Coleman knows what this is in reference
Space
to.
dragons, Dan. Space dragons don't breathe fire.
It went too far.
Anyway, back to the serious topic I was trying to get to. What's the deal with number 252, right? You would think that's the second in the series beginning 250, but no, it's actually the third.
What?
Yeah, because 250,
No,
251,
250 was still part of the original set of 250, surely. We didn't finish on a 249.
No, but that's when the first series ends, and then the second two. Yeah. See, numbers, man. Numbers.
Numbers and magnets and other things that elude us as to how they work properly.
So, before we go all insane clown posse on this, how is life in the blissful wedded household of the Hibbses?
All good in the hood.
Good in the hood. Alex, I have a question.
Oh, God.
Isn't he far too middle-class, white and 40-ish to say it's all good in the hood?
Yes.
We live on an ex-council estate. That's pretty much
Yo, it's
in
your
the
boy.
hood.
Yo, it's your boy coming from the mean streets. Actually, you do actually live on some pretty mean streets of East Finchley. I'm actually not going to take the mickey about, someone got murdered to death. So let's not do that. So anyway, there's some news we need to talk about. Some news. So, Sports Direct.
Right.
They're a shop I don't often go to.
Yeah.
You know your week of gaming news is gonna get exciting when it starts with Sports Direct.
Yeah, it is.
It has been a bit of a slow news week in the gaming world, but this is This is definitely an interesting piece of news from a couple of perspectives. Basically, anyone that doesn't know, I'm not sure it's actually owned by Sports Direct. I think it's owned by the man behind Sports Direct, or owned by the parent company that also owns Sports Direct. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I would speculate that that's probably more likely the case.
Journalism!
But for anyone that doesn't know, Mike Ashley is well known for Sports Direct, who got in quite a lot of trouble last year for not paying their staff minimum wage and having unsafe work conditions for their staff and all sorts of horrible things like that.
The guy is a grade A bellend, allegedly.
But also, preface this with the fact that they've bought £44 million worth of shares, which generally equates to just under 26% of the company.
I'm slightly surprised that because the game's shares have not gone well over the past year or so.
But then it is a cheap time to buy them, probably.
I'm just trying to work out what their angle is. You know? What's their angle?
Well, I don't know yet. They obviously don't have a controlling interest in the company yet, with only 26%. But just for anyone that isn't fully aware, like, Sports Direct's been run a bit dodgy, but Mike Ashley is also the person that owns Newcastle Football Club.
Sorry, I'm just going to slip into a coma here. Do excuse me. All right.
I can understand why you'd be bored, but it does kind of give you a history as to the person and how well liked he is by fans of that club, etc. Newcastle fans pretty much hate him and blame him for them being relegated for his lack of investment in the football club. Also, add to that, I think he attempted to take over Rangers at one point, or was doing something with Rangers Football Club when they were in trouble, tried to buy his way in there cheaply, offloaded a load of, 3 crap youth players from Newcastle to Rangers at an extortionate price, and got a load of money for Newcastle out of the deal. Basically, he's a bit of a dodgy dealer and generally picks things up on the cheap because he wants to make money from them, not because he wants to make a good business, basically.
Next up on his list, Ubisoft. Just saying.
Look, I don't think it's a great worry, because to me, Game isn't exactly in the best position at the moment. I was actually asked to review Game on Trustpilot this week, and in my review I put the words, "Only ever use as my last resort these days."
Oh dear.
Because I won't go to them unless I absolutely have to. And there's no shops near me anymore, really, and I've found that online service to be severely lacking.
Hang on, don't you live in London?
Yeah, okay, but considering how many shopping areas and how many shops are in my close vicinity,
Brent Cross, that's very near you.
Not one for quite a while, and I don't go to Brent Cross. Brent Cross is too depressing.
Finchley Central?
No one goes to Brent Cross. No one.
And yeah, Finchley Central's oddly awkward to get here, and I thought Finchley Central had closed, actually.
Camden?
Camden's the nearest one, most probably.
That's not far.
As in the easiest one to get to. But it's still, a 40-minute sort of
Okay, this is not 20 minutes,
anyway.
but it is a 20-minute journey there and 20-minute journey back instead of spending about 10 seconds clicking a button on your mouse. So.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, the only reason I tend to venture in that direction is probably to sell them something. I mean, I still go to Game if I'm trading stuff in, because I'm umming and ahhing about making the jump to a PS4 Pro.
Ooh.
But I will obviously trade some old crap in. And that makes a lot of sense rather than going to Computer Exchange. I will never, ever take store credit from them because all the stuff in there is I would not buy. I would happily sell, but would not buy. I like my electronics brand new and to be the first owner of them. Thank you very much.
I don't mind that as much as I mind receiving and handling stolen goods.
Yes, what? Allegedly. Tim. Allegedly. To be fair, Computer Exchange do actually do quite a lot of background checking. I had to give them my passport, my national insurance number, all that stuff.
I'm not sure they care as much as their rules kind of make out.
I might have just looked really dodgy, and that might be the only reason why I asked.
I wouldn't trust you, to be fair, Dan, by the look of you, so...
So the long and short is, I mean, I think he's getting his foot in the door, because if you have a look at the share price... Because remember, back in the day, I was the happy recipient of some Game Virtual shares.
Oh, you got your shares, didn't you?
Which my virtual shares, which I cashed in at exactly the right time for
nice.
an Xbox One Elite controller. So when they floated back in June 2014, the shares were worth 200p a share. They are now worth 25p a share.
Yeah.
So it's not gone well.
No,
it's
it hasn't
not gone well for them. Yeah, I mean, I think Game, sadly, are treading water. And what do you think, Alex? As the industry kind of moves on, do you think kind of the high street retailers outside of hardware are kind of pretty dead now?
What? Why is this question addressed very officially to me? I think they are.
Because you're a guest. I'm being nice to you. I'm trying to give you some airtime.
Trying to bring you into the conversation.
I'm trying to give you some airtime because otherwise it's just me and Tim talking utter ill-informed at one another.
Well,
I can explain to you while it's mainly you and Tim, but that will be behind the scenes stuff.
I just can't quit you.
Never mind. Never mind. It was behind the scenes editing
I'm
stuff.
not a big spoon, I'm a ladle.
Oh, God.
But yeah, I mean, the other thing, and I think this is a point I'm stealing off someone else that said it on Twitter, but generally, it's a really odd time to buy into a game retailer as well. There are no console launches on the horizon, and that's where you don't necessarily make a lot of your profit, but you do certainly make a lot of your turnover. And then that tends, in the early period at least, to drive more software sales, which is where you do make your profit. And also, it's, 6 months till Christmas, which is their, busy period of the year type thing. So it really couldn't be much of an odder time to actually buy into it, other than what I figure is that as you say, the price had plummeted and it was probably at about as low as it was going to go, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to have stabilised fairly low. So, I don't know. He may know something we don't. But, hey, them's the breaks. But, yeah, I hope everything goes all right with the game because, as you say, Mike Ashley is, well, a bit of a twat.
As much as I fear for Game as a chain, I actually have fear for their employees based on his record for dealing with employees as well. So anyone in Game, if you get affected by this, let us know on the quiet and we'll get your story out there. But generally speaking, beyond, kind of journalistic side.
Proper journalism, eh?
Exactly. Look at you with your little trilby, with your little press card. This morning in East Finchley, several employees of the video game high street retailer Game.
Beyond that, though, look, we just hope it generally goes okay. As I said, they don't have a controlling interest yet, so I'm not sure how much influence they'll actually have in the company. But I would imagine that this is the precursor to them buying, another 25% and getting a controlling interest in the company. But we'll see.
Anyway, it's not just Sports Direct making movies and shakes in the video game market. Amazon, who have already kind of been dipping their toe in the water with the offshoot of the CryEngine Lumberyard.
Recently made Wonder Woman.
Yes, they did recently make Wonder Woman.
Oh, Pat, you made a joke.
Thanks.
Very good.
Oh, that couldn't be more
Very
condescending.
good,
That's right, thanks. She literally actually patted me on the head. I know that didn't come across in audio, but...
Yeah, and I was just like, all right, Tim, whatever. I'm just going to acknowledge that. Carry on. So they have gone and bought more video game back-end engine-y stuff in the form of Game Talk creators GameSparks, who have all kinds of fingers in pies for companies such as Disney, BBC, but also video game clients including Squeenix, Ubisoft, soon to be bought by Sports Direct, Telltale Games, Bandai Namco, Namdai Banco, and Capcom. So it sounds like Amazon are trying to get their ducks in a row for kind of a bit of a unified publishing solution. So not only have you got like the game engine there, but also all the back-end stuff, and presumably that will interface with their cloud storage as well, and their cloud compute. So I think Amazon are doing their homework here. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and launch themselves as a major platform and support indie games. I think that's where they're going, to kind of give kind of AAA class support to smaller devs.
A few people have speculated that, but I don't quite understand the speculation. I'm not saying I necessarily disagree with it. I'm just saying I don't understand the speculation. It may be because I just quite simply don't understand exactly what GameSparks does behind the scenes for all these people?
So basically, it's all the server-based stuff like leaderboards, matchmaking, multiplayer, cloud save data, smart notifications, integration between different platforms, like so a mobile app interfacing with the game, for example.
Okay, but that all sounds like, and again, this is my layperson's understanding of how video games are made, perhaps, but that all sounds to me like very much what we generally class as middleware type software, like not really. I mean, it might be something that's useful if you have a platform, but it doesn't make you a platform, if you see what I mean, no?
Well, it depends kind of which perspective you're looking at. I mean, it's all part of, you know, the tool. They're all tools in the kit that modern game developers kind of need, right? And, you know, it is very difficult and probably, you know, prohibitively expensive for smaller devs to write their own multiplayer code, leverage large-scale cloud computing resources, whereas this kind of brings it all under one roof. And also, you know, just thinking about it, through Amazon Web Services, they've kind of got a content delivery platform there as well. So there's a couple of things. It might be that they're going to offer a really good deal to kind of new indie devs to kind of help them kind of really add an extra level of polish to their game without that much more legwork from the indie devs. By giving them that support, they can probably poach that talent fairly well because they can see what they're up to. But also, is Amazon going to start moving into the space of like the Steams, the Blizzards, stuff like that? Is it going to start trying to launch its own platform? Is that what this is all part of?
Because it has tried that a little bit with a kind of like an Amazon mobile video game store type thing, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it might be the next generation of that it's trying, basically.
So that might be the long game. They're thinking. Alex, what do you think about the potential of Amazon entering the video game platform service?
I think this is boring. Let's talk about Oculus.
Well, oh, God, why Oculus? Now, Oculus, hang on. Oculus had a massive price card, didn't they? Their headsets were going well cheap and stuff.
That's one thing we haven't put in our agenda. Basically, they had well, as far as I know, I haven't seen anyone, and I haven't admit this is not an angle I've particularly looked at, but I haven't seen that price has been mirrored in regions outside America, because everyone's talked about it as a $200 price cut. So maybe you could do some live journalism and have a look at that. But for anyone that doesn't know, there has been...
Is it well cheap?
Yeah, there is a $200 price cut currently on a package which includes the Oculus Rift headset, the Oculus Touch controllers, and a selection of like quite popular software, including Robo Recall and Lucky's Tale and a few other things like that, basically.
I can confirm that at the UK price for Oculus, including all those gubbins, is now $399 and available at high street retailers and also online retailers as well. So that massively undercuts the Vive, whose RRP is still 750 quid.
So why has everyone went, this is the end of VR after hearing this news?
I, to be honest, I think it's been the end of VR for about the past year and a half.
Yeah, but I wrote a very big article today because I don't know if you saw this. There was a few articles that sprang up on the back of this saying VR is dead. And I wrote a response article to that today that went up on the website today.
Saying, I bought a PlayStation VR, please don't let it be dead. If I want it...
and I wrote... Well, the title of my article is VR is dead, long live VR.
Very good, Tim.
Yeah, and the point I was generally making in that is...
You're in denial.
No, even if Oculus is in a bad place, and it's not quite as bad as some people are speculating, I would argue, but even if they completely went away tomorrow, it still wouldn't spell the end of VR. Like, it's...
I mean, I think Oculus served its purpose insofar as getting it into the mainstream. I think they quickly ran out of steam once it was released. It was like, oh, we've released it, now what? And Palmer Luckey has, I'm afraid, become a bit of an increasingly toxic person to be associated with.
He's left the company, and that kind of did leave under a cloud, and it kind of gave them some bad press to the whole name behind
The man
Oculus,
is a Trump-supporting cocknugget.
Yeah, and look, things didn't go well. He also cost them, $500 million, which is, a little bit costly. I'm sure an employee you wouldn't like
And
that.
the man still doesn't buy shoes. He's got all these millions. Buy yourself some shoes, Lucky. Go on, just try it. You might like it.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like that was a definite bad point for them and stuff like that, and that was a possible low point. I can understand why some people are jumping on the $200 price cut as a bad sign, because it's not the first price cut they've made, in quite rapid succession, basically. But the thing is that it's a temporary $200 price cut, so they're probably, just trying to get as many out the door as possible type thing. You probably know just even better than I do, Dan, that in the tech industry, often the trailblazers, the first people that bring a new bit of tech to market, are not the ones that get long-term success with that technology. They often, burn out quickly, fade away, and it's other people that come in and learn from their mistakes and pick things up and move things forward.
Whenever you've worked on something, you kind of get to the point where you can't see the wood for the trees, and actually it's the people who are new to the thing who come along with the really fresh ideas of how to improve it. And I think kind of Oculus is there, and also I think Facebook aren't the right parent company to be steering them through these particularly dodgy waters. I mean, Facebook's a massive company, but they've got no idea what's going on in the video game world.
But when they bought Oculus, it was the intention of gaming is just the start of things, and we see this as a technology that we can utilise in other areas.
Which I haven't done yet.
Yeah, and I still fail to see a good use case for integration with a social media platform. I don't see how that'll ever go. They talked about, and some of the things that are coming to fruition now a little bit more with like live sports events and sitting in the best seat in the house and kind of, seeing from basketball games from courtside and all that type of stuff. And, music concerts, a similar thing as well and stuff like that. And I can kind of see...
I have a question.
That, yep.
What other concerts are there apart from music concerts? Because you specifically said music concerts, and I want to know what other kind of concerts you have been to, Timothy.
You probably shouldn't tell about that on air.
Yeah. Burlesque concerts.
Right, okay, fine. But I also have a theory. The reason why VR will be successful, and
there's
Alex, I'd be interested to hear your opinion about this, is that half the fun is actually for the innocent bystanders watching somebody wear a VR headset and flail about like some kind of epileptic baboon.
It's quite funny. Was it? The funniest thing was, I think, when I came into the room and you were just curled up on a sofa with your VR headset and there was nothing on, and it turns out he was just watching a 3D movie. And it was just a very, very, very bizarre scene.
See, I do think a lot of enjoyment is from showing new people the technology, and there is a massive enjoyment from that. And that's not to downplay the enjoyment I get from playing the games personally, but it's just that is so fun sometimes. Like seeing a new person's reaction to VR when they click with it and when they're like, wow, I didn't know it was going to be like that type of thing is really good. Also, Alex literally screaming herself out of the headset while playing Rush of Blood, that was also quite amusing as well, basically, I have to say.
Yeah. A lot of people laugh at my expense. It's fine.
Well, to be fair, it's just nice of Tim to laugh at someone else's expense for a change, Alex, to be fair.
We went a little bit off track there as well, because
we did.
The news piece that we were supposed to be getting to as well is something else which kind of hints at the fact that Oculus are at least looking towards the future, even if most people have written off the fact that they have one. But they are apparently planning on next year releasing a wireless $200 headset.
Right.
And Mark Zuckerberg was talking about this being the sweet spot between Gear VR and Oculus.
Reading this press release, right, I actually think people have got their, here's a little Judimo for you, wires crossed, with this wireless headset. I'm not sure if it's a wireless headset or just an all-in-one that doesn't require connection to a computer. Because the way Zuckerberg is describing it, if it's like halfway between a full-on Oculus Rift and Gear VR, that's what it makes me think of. And frankly, with modern technology, there is enough latency in a wireless connection to make you vomit all over yourself whenever you try this thing.
That's something they've been showing off for some time. I believe there's a wireless Vive that's doing the rounds as well. But it's something that people have played with the technology. They've used it, and there hasn't been reports of that being a problem, basically.
Were all these people without stomachs?
Possibly.
Right, good.
But yeah, generally speaking, I mean, it does seem to be, and this is something that was reported by Bloomberg Technology, and that's not someone I heard of the name before, but I'm not familiar enough to know with them to know if they're a good name within tech or exactly, you know, how they figure. And the only thing that makes me a bit more distant about this is that not a lot of people seem to have picked up on this story for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. But, as I said, Bloomberg are reporting the fact that it is a wireless headset, and that not only that, it doesn't require being hooked up to either a phone, which I see as a problem, or a PC, which I see as a problem. And if it's doing neither of those things, and it's only costing $200, I can't quite make sense of it myself, no?
It probably is essentially a Gear VR. It's probably got the guts of a Samsung Galaxy S8 in it.
Yeah.
It's just you don't need to slot the phone in there. It's got the OLED display there. But I actually think, you know, reading this, I think things are getting a bit confused. I reckon that they've got two products. One of them is a strap-it-on-your-face standalone product. The other is a wireless headset that connects to another device, and I think that's probably further out. You're looking at like 2019 or 2020 for that.
They're talking about releasing that next year, basically.
Well, they need to lay off the strong cheese at bedtime, Timothy, because that's crazy talk right there.
But one of the other things I mentioned in my article was just generally that I don't believe in the future of phone VR because it's got two fundamental problems for me. One, that you're always strapping a hot object to your face, which is not a pleasurable experience in general.
Have you ever eaten a McDonald's apple pie?
Yeah, fine, but I wouldn't want to strap one of those to my eyes.
That is an excellent point. You are doing eating apple pies wrong if you're doing that.
It might last longer, but it doesn't taste as good. But then also the other problem for me is it makes your phone inaccessible. What happens if you're in the middle of playing a game and your phone rings? You know.
Oh my God, that is my new fun thing to do if I ever see anyone with one of those.
Excuse me a second, chaps. My eyes are ringing. I'll be back in a minute. You know?
I think one of my stepsisters has got a Galaxy. I might have to buy her a Gear VR.
But see,
that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I just think that's a fundamental problem that needs to go over. The other little problem is that you can't rely on everyone having a controller. Even if you release one separately, you can't rely on everyone having one. And if you package one in, it's already pushing the price up a bit. But anyway, if this manages to get past that problem where you don't need to actually slot your phone into the device, and you don't also have it heating up to hotter than the inside of the sun, then that's two problems for the kind of mobile technology that I think we'll get over. If it also does the whole wireless thing, that's one
I
thing.
still think they're two separate devices, mate. I really do.
Well,
and I mean, you're talking about it like headsets right now don't have a problem. Like, you're tripping over the wire. At least this way they're looking forward, and whatever problems they come up with they can deal with.
Yeah.
But they're not perfect right now, and whether it's one controller or two different controls, as Dan says, at least, you know, this is something to investigate.
I don't quite understand the point you're making.
I'm making a point that
you're talking mate.
Yeah, pretty much. That you can poo-poo the new controllers as much as you want, but they have to...
New controllers?
Headsets.
Right, okay, that's
there
what I was getting confused
about. I haven't poo-pooed anything since 1987.
Okay.
But, yeah, what I reckon, though, and I know I'm a bloody stuck record about this, where the money's at, augmented reality. And not as in you hold your phone and go, oh, look, I'm looking through my phone.
Yeah. That's
and not like that. And I'm talking about some kind of head-mounted glasses. As opposed to what... I'm not sure where else you'd mount glasses.
No, I think it will be augmented reality that projects or is seen through your phone, but that works without glasses. Like, that technology is already... on the way. Basically.
No. You don't want to be holding your phone about, mate. You just want it to be an unobtrusive thing, like a pair of glasses that has that technology in there.
I firmly believe, and I have some evidence to back up the case, that I don't think VR will be a prevalent technology on mobile phones going forward. I do think augmented reality will be the dominant sort of gaming technology going forward, when it comes to mobile phones, at least. I think VR's got a slightly longer future on consoles and PCs than it does on mobiles.
Mate, you're talking rubbish.
Well, we will see. We will see, Dan.
Yes, we will, and we shall point and laugh at you. But you can't see us because you're wearing a VR headset like some kind of chump. That's what I reckon's going to happen.
Right now, Dan, you get to talk about your favourite subject in the universe now.
I'm going to talk about it very, very quickly. It's Destiny 2. You can now preload the beta.
Wait, preload the beta? It's not even a beta, you have to preload it?
Yeah.
Oh, for...
Well, it's so you don't have to download it when it goes live. So they're getting it out of the way. They're getting
That's good,
out of the way.
because servers might be really busy when you're trying to actually do that.
Also, I've got 3 letters for you, PSN.
Yes.
That is actually true.
Slower than anything. I don't know if you're aware of this, Dan, but Coleman and I would say more Coleman than I, but we actually installed a new hard drive in my PS4 successfully last weekend.
It's really not difficult.
It's really good, though. I have to say, it's so freeing. I can put a disc in, and it just goes. It just actually downloads the thing and everything.
I'm sure you had a point to the hard drive.
Yeah. Anyway, but that was generally, re-downloading everything on PSN. Oh my word, does that take a long time?
I'm going to ask Alex this question, so let's face it, you're not going to know. Tim.
Right.
Did he get a hybrid drive?
You think I know? Ask Coleman.
I got what I was given, Dan. Someone gave me a 2 terabyte hard drive. I was like, okay, thank you very much. I don't think it's a hybrid.
Oh, no, it isn't a hybrid drive. That's what I've got. I've got a hybrid drive, which is kind of, you've got the benefits of your SSDs and your HDDs, all in one tiny little 2.5-inch package.
But free is better than some money, so, yeah.
Yes, very good, Tim.
I thought there was a point to the story where you got the hard drive.
Well, it's just, it took bloody forever to down. It took forever for me to tell the story, but it also took forever to download all the stuff again.
Okay, so it had no relationship whatsoever to the Destiny.
I just mentioned the letters PSN. He went off on Alex.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Are you done on Destiny, Dan? Are you happy? Are you sated?
To be fair, I haven't really ran to it. Anyway, it's coming. I'm certainly going to be playing it, so if you see me online having a go, pop along and say hello.
Good.
There we go. See? That's how you do a story quickly, Timothy.
Well, another story that we can hopefully do quickly is Gran Turismo has got and I'm putting this in inverted commas, final release date.
Yeah, we've all been at work and we've all edited a document that has the words "final version 2," right?
Yes.
And then there's the final, and then final.
The final.
Final.
Yeah, exactly. So this is that. If this actually comes out in October, as they say it's going to do, I will actually eat my own underpants.
Yep, and that is October that is October the 17th in the USA and October the 18th in the EU area, which we will no longer be a part of soon.
The timing's really weird with this. So in the period of a month, we've got 3 racing games coming out, 3 quite big ones. So we've got this at the end of October, Project Cars 2 at the beginning of kind of around that time, September.
Which only Bleezy will play. But yes, go on.
No, I'll play. I'll give it a go.
You like so?
I'll give it a go. I have played it.
Project Cars.
You weren't very good at it, though,
No,
Tim.
I wasn't. It's because it's really hard.
Yes, driving is hard. How's that driving test going?
Non-existent.
Have you ever had any...
No, I've never had a driving lesson.
Learn to drive, Tim.
Why?
Learn to drive.
So I can move to Slough?
Yeah. There's roundabouts here, and you can only really truly enjoy a roundabout if you're in a car.
I mean, you're not selling it to me, Dan.
No? So neither of you can drive?
No.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. But anyway, right, yeah.
As you were boned if you ever move out of London.
Slightly odd timing, but it does kind of make sense being in the run-up to Christmas and all.
It does, but I mean, there's a lot of... I mean, I think it's more of a concern for Project Cars than it is for Forza, because I think the predominant console is PS4. Project Cars is probably going to sell more on PS4 as a result, but are people just going to hold off it because they're going to wait for Gran Turismo, which is, after all, the real driving simulator?
Yeah, and I kind of wonder, with it being the cross-platform game, okay, it might just pick up enough sales on that it's okay, and obviously it might do better on PC than Forza, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, Slightly Mad Studios, developers of Project Cars, they've really supported it very well post-release, and there's all kinds of really cool stuff that even in the console versions you can do, where it will broadcast on your local network the car's telemetry, so you can like have a extended dashboard on like your iPad or your iPhone, which will show you like a track map and the time going. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's quite overly realistic, perhaps as well.
I haven't got a bloody clue what any of it means, mate. But it looks good.
It looks cool, so you want to do it. Yeah. But
there's graphs and shit. It's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know about you. I kind of see that, you know, if you're a fan of driving games and you only own an Xbox One, you're almost definitely going to pick up Forza. Likewise, if you only own a PS4, you're almost definitely going to pick up Gran Turismo. How much room does that leave for Project Cars? I don't know.
A little tiny bit.
But Project Cars, as you say, was very well supported, and I think it garnered a lot of support and love from the community for what it attempted to do and what it later delivered on.
Yeah, I mean, it's out of the three, it's the most technical game out of all. I mean, there are more technical simulators on the PC which make Project Cars look like child's play. But I mean, I think the problem is that where it was going to sell on a console was going to be the PS4, and the reason I think it sold so well on PS4 last time is because there was no sign of Gran Turismo on the horizon. But now, with Gran Turismo coming out so close, I do worry a bit for how it's going to shift on consoles now.
Remains to be seen. I mean, we did get to play it a couple of weeks ago, and as I a week or so ago, and as I reported, they are concentrating on how it plays on a gamepad. And I did happen to play it on the Xbox One pad, and I thought
it's pretty horrendous.
I thought that was interesting because it was one of the only games that was being shown off on the Xbox One at the event we were at. Everything else seemed to be on PS4. And it was interesting that they particularly showed to drive the driving game on that. I'm guessing it's because of the analog triggers, you know, and all that type of
which are also on the PS4.
Well, the sort of rumble triggers and stuff is what I meant.
There we go.
But yeah, anyway, as you say, remains to be seen, but also remains to be seen if Gran Turismo actually hits its final release date.
It's not going to happen.
We promise definitely now release date.
All right, I reckon it will still come out this year, but it's going to be December.
I've been predicting for a while that I reckon it will be delayed until next year. We shall see.
You reckon?
It's Gran Turismo. Like, it's been delayed almost as many times as, what's the name? Big Ratbird thing that I can't remember the name of.
Good. Let's
good.
Move on.
That's a good way to end the section. Last Guardian. That's the one.
There we go.
Right. So anyway, let's move on, Dan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think just to kind of round out the people buying stuff from other people and buying things of things. Logitech have gone out and bought Astro Gaming, purveyors of slightly upmarket gaming headsets, chiefly for the PC, but they also work on consoles. So it looks like, because Logitech already do like gaming keyboards, gaming mice, they now can do, they do already have their own brand of gaming headsets, but Astro are by far and away kind of, far ahead of what Logitech currently offer. And Logitech just last year bought Cytec, and they're a UK-based manufacturer of like arcade sticks and stuff.
Yeah, but they make sort of more kind of like very sim-heavy joystick type things. They're more like sort of flight sim type joysticks and all that type of stuff, basically. No?
So, but I think Logitech are just getting their ducks in a row, aren't they? So you can whatever you want, you can complete the set, and you can sync all your silly lights between them and everything.
Well, Cytec was originally owned by Mad Catz, so I'm guessing that they picked that up in the kind of fire sale of Mad Catz.
Do you know what Mad Catz own now? Packet of Monster Munch.
P45?
That's all that Mad Catz own. Packet Monster Munch.
I'm not even sure they have that many assets.
I don't know.
Hey.
Bugger.
But yeah, I'm also...
Was it Big Boy Barry? Did he eat all the Monster Munch?
Well, he moved on to a PR company. Anyway, but basically, yeah, I was trying to remember if Astro Gaming was part of the Mad Catz catalogue in the end as well. I don't think it was. I think they owned a different headset manufacturer.
Yes.
But yeah, as you say, it kind of makes sense. It adds to what they're doing. I think Logitech only made budget headsets beforehand, didn't they, really, kind of thing?
No, they do have some slightly fancier ones on the market, but I don't think they've ever sold particularly well. I mean, I don't know whether or not... I think they're probably going to keep selling them under the Astro brand.
Yes, I would imagine so, as it's got a good name, so yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean it sounds good. I mean, it's... got a good reputation.
Yeah, because they're all over gaming events like a bloody rash 6-7 years ago. You literally anything you put on your face was Astro.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's news. News is now old. Let us no longer talk about it.
Thank God.
Let's hurry up, because we've got lots of games to get through, too.
Well, I don't. You have.
Well, you got as many as I do.
That's not that many.
It's 2 each.
All right, okay. I've been sucked in to the game that everyone else is playing because I want to be cool like the rest of the kids.
I have never heard of this game because I've never heard of Player Unknown's.
Oh, stop being a dick.
But tell me about Player Unknown's Battlegrounds.
You really are a prize bellend, Timothy. So, Player Unknown's Battlegrounds is basically, well, it's Battle Royale, essentially.
Yes. With guns and stuff.
The early access sensation that is literally taking everything by storm. It was the top selling game during the Steam sale, despite the fact it wasn't on sale.
That's always a good sign.
Which is a good sign. So anyway, I finally...
Not sure anything's achieved that before, have they? I haven't heard of that being said.
I don't think so. I think that might be a first. But, I mean, a couple of peeps from the site are playing it. Jamie, Dearmed, bless him, and Kev.
Get off of my land!
All play it. So, I'm rubbish at first-person shooters, competitive first-person shooters, but it kind of doesn't matter in this. It's kind of got a real... Because it's like, you start off with 100, there's 100 of you, all on this island, and you've got to get down to the last person.
Yeah, and an ever-decreasing circle of where you can go, basically,
and even though it's in early access, you really get into it, because I thought, it's going to be a bit of a gimmick, it's going to be a load of old but actually you really get into it. And the sound design on it is so good that you start... if you hear someone, because we were playing a game yesterday, it was me, Diomed, and Jamie, and we're all kind of hiding, kind of shoring up in a house, and Jamie started walking around without telling us. I was like, who the is that upstairs? Jamie, are you walking around? Be quiet up there. And it really does make you kind of, more so than any other shooter, not only pay attention to what's in front of you on the screen, but also listen to the environment around you, and that's really cool. And, kind of would make me really interested to hear what it's like on a surround sound setup, because I think that'll give you a massive advantage. But, it's early access, it's got some rough edges to it. But playing solo can be a bit miserable.
More fun in teams and stuff, or?
But if you got a team of you playing, it's really, really, really awesome fun. Like really, really, really good. Like I cannot explain how surprised at how much fun I find this game.
My impression of it, and I don't know, maybe that's why I'm not 100% attracted to it, is that you're kind of spawn in a place, and you spend the majority of the time just basically looting around the place, and then...
And get shot.
And then after you've done that for most of the game, there's about 2 minutes of you getting shot at, and then you die, mostly because one of your team players shot you by accident.
I don't know.
It's the sneaking around that's really good, because you will come across other players, and then it's like, because it's all about, if you see someone else's, do we open fire or do we not open fire? Do we engage them or do we wait? Do we let someone, because the game we tend to play is let everyone else wipe each other out, and then kind of just sneak in at the end. Yeah, I mean, there is that element to it that actually right. It does it feels like there's a lot of foreplay and not much action. Let's put it that way.
Glad you said it.
It does seem to be that there's a lot of tension in the build-up. That sounds really bad with the analogy you just made, but hey.
To be fair, unlike that analogy, you usually come second, not first. So,
yeah, but is that you getting shot in the head, though?
There's more jokes in there somewhere. I'm not going to go that way.
Yeah, probably. Right, before this gets even more sticky, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. But it's I still the price is still, if you shop around, you can get it for about 20 quid.
Have you won yet?
No, of course I haven't. Rubbish. We came second. Oh,
That's good. That's good.
So we were shown the chicken dinner. We didn't get to imbibe in the chicken dinner. It was more like a pot noodle. Well done, you come second, have a pot noodle.
Chicken pot noodle.
But it is good fun. I mean, it's kind of levels of strategy to it where, there's a whole very unhealthy section of the internet who are plotting out maps, a bit like what I do on Destiny, but for players, so it's not actually, yeah.
Last question before I go. How many different maps are there? Because whenever I see the videos...
Just one for now, but they are planning on releasing others. It's early access, so yeah.
And this is it's only been out for 3 or 4 months in early access.
I have a question, Dan.
Yes, Timothy.
Do we know if there's any plans for this to come to consoles? Because I
Yes,
think they
yes.
mentioned
Xbox One.
Xbox One, didn't they? Yeah.
Xbox One X.
But we don't know if it's coming to PS4 then, no?
I don't know if they've signed an exclusivity deal or not.
What's going on? All right, anyway, cool. Right, we've got a bit more to get through, so let's venture on.
So the only other thing I played, because I've signed up to the Humble monthly bundle, which costs, I think, about £9.70 something a month, and that's basically dosh to charity that you're donating, and you get a monthly unlock set of games. And one of them from, I think it was last month, was SUPERHOT, which Super hot.
Well, in player-unknown Battlegrounds.
So I mean, it's obviously it's an old game. I only ever really played it in its kind of like tech demo state when it was on the web. But I played all the way through it on PC now because I want to try something a bit different. And man, that game goes places. I know this is old news to everybody, but that game goes some places. It really, really does. And I think you can pick it up for relatively cheap. And it's because of its very stylized kind of presentation, it holds up really well. And still got all the endless modes, challenge modes and stuff. And it's actually a really, I just like the kind of puzzle element to it. Like I said, really old news for most people. But if you can pick it up cheap, which you probably can, and you haven't sampled it before, it is a corking game. So good.
Just as a kind of amendment, an addition. Addendum. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
to what you were saying.
VR is a thing.
Yes, and I actually pre-ordered the first game that I've pre-ordered it as for as long as I can remember, basically. I don't remember. That's not saying that, I haven't ordered something for 20 years, but I don't remember the last time I pre-ordered a game, basically. And
this story keeps on getting cooler. Carry on.
Well, I was just saying, I pre-ordered SUPERHOT VR, basically, because I'm really looking forward to that, because I think that's going to work really well in VR.
And is that on PlayStation? You pre-ordered that?
Yeah. For the PSVR. So, that's going to be cool.
I can see that going. Although I'd be interested to see... As you know, on the PC version, when you turn on the spot, it doesn't advance time.
But I don't know if you're aware of this. It is a brand new game built from the ground up for VR. So it's got that in mind, basically. But anyway, as I said, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think you'll love it, mate. It's
this
really
week,
good.
I have mostly been playing
Terra Masolata.
Tekken 7.
Excellent.
Close, but no cigar.
So, Tekken 7, is it any different from Tekken 1 through 6?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's a higher number, Dan. It's generally how numbers work.
Yeah, no, but is it actually any different?
Well...
Aside from shinier graphics.
Well, shinier graphics...
And increasingly improbable hair.
It's also been a while since 6. This is the first one on this generation of consoles, I believe. So it's been a while, and that's almost worth it in itself. It's also, obviously with every fighting game, they tend to introduce some new characters and some fairly major changes to some old ones in this case as well. And it's, I don't know, it felt really comfortable and nice to be back in the world of Tekken. And this does feel like a good Tekken game. The base fighting of it, I think we reported a bit ago, I said this was the most fun Tekken game since Tekken 3. And having played through the game, definitely from as I said, the base game mechanics and just, the normal kind of fighting and stuff, they've added a kind of a rage art system, which is almost similar to the super system in Street Fighter. Aside from it's much more of a catch-up mechanic. Whoever gets beaten up a lot can use their rage art or their raised drive attacks, basically. And... yeah, I don't know that I like that as much, because it kind of... it doesn't reward you as much for doing well. Like the system in more recent Street Fighters had a kind of a super and another meter, a EX meter or whatever it was, but basically you have one thing for getting hit and you have another thing for doing well, and they both built up a bit separately, whereas this has just got the two separate powers that you can do from the one power bar, and you have to get beaten up to a certain point to do it. So it means that to actually finish someone with a rage art attack, you need to have been beaten up quite a lot. So and you get like extra bonus score for like finishing with a a rage art attack type thing.
And how much damage does one of these rage art, did you say?
It does vary from character to character.
I mean, could it turn the tide of a match if you've been systematically getting 7 shades of whatnot punched out at you?
Yes, especially with some of the characters that have easier to connect rage art moves and that do a lot of damage. It
can I also
can make
just
a big
say
difference.
rage art? Who the bloody hell named that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird name.
What a load of
But
bollocks.
basically, you start glowing red, you get angry, and you hit harder, basically. So it kind of makes sense.
Right.
Kind of
So it's
makes
like the
sense.
Hulk.
You're
Hulk.
like hulking out a bit, basically.
Okay.
But for some people...
In a Marvel Universe way, not a slightly...
Yeah.
In a slightly unpleasant mustachioed wrestler kind of way. Good. Just double checking.
Yeah, as I said, it's... I don't know. I'm not entirely sure I definitely like it, but it does add another level of tacticalness to
Another level of tacticalness.
of tactics to the kind of fighting.
Well done, Tim.
And yeah, it works quite well. Where it comes a little bit unstuck, and only a little bit, but it does come a little bit unstuck, is in the story for the game.
Oh, say it ain't so. A fighting game with a terrible story.
Right, that's the thing, yeah. But for years, fighting games kind of got a pass in story mode. It was the story just consisted of one screenshot at the end of the game and 3 lines of text underneath it, and that's your story. Well done. And it's basically just a motivation for why they came to this fighting tournament in the first place, type of thing.
Dragon punching waterfalls. What gets me through every day.
And Coleman was even more kind of critical of the single-player content than I was. I think because we'd both been told that the single-player content was good. And by Tekken standards, and that sounds like a real backhand compliment, but by Tekken standards, it kind of is. It sort of tells the whole story, like, it kind of goes back and retells story with extra details of the story throughout, from Tekken 1 onwards, basically. It misses out some of the details, it doesn't go through everything, but it kind of bases a lot of what goes on, without giving away the kind of twists and turns from where it goes. It kind of bases a lot of the story on the whole Hiachi throwing Kazuma, I think it is, into a volcano, and that kind of story, and what happens from there, and why that happened, and all that type of stuff. But it's...
Do they explain Heihachi's improbable haircut?
No, and you just see him in the 70s with an improbable haircut and improbable moustache, and it still makes no sense.
Is it still the same improbable haircut? He's just got a bit grey.
Yeah, like over the years. That's it, basically.
Good work. So he's basically he's trying to live out the unrealised promises of his youth by keeping the same haircut. In the same way you see people wander about with perms these days. It's not the 80s.
Basically.
Get over
just
it.
living his life that way.
Look, you're living in the past, man. Living in the past.
But a lot of this game story takes place in the past.
Get a haircut, Heihachi. For the love of God.
Where it gets really confusing, if you're super hardcore into Tekken, then you might know where this lore goes, and you might be a bit more surprised by some of the twists and turns, etc. But generally, Coleman and I both know Tekken reasonably well. Like, we've played through most of the games, if not all of them, basically. And I still couldn't tell you much of what happened, apart from he actually threw a dude in a volcano, and that came back to haunt him a few years later. Like, it kind of bounces around.
Did he get burnt by it?
Well, yeah, but it bounces around. It bounces around the story and different things, and it kind of does a reasonable job of covering when it's using graphics from one of the older games. So it gets really hard. You're like 25 years ago. Okay, so where the hell in the Tekken story am I now? Kind of thing. Was 25 years ago Tekken 3? I don't know where I am, and that all gets a little bit confusing, and a lot of the overall story kind of gets lost because it's all the whole machinima. No, not machinima.
Computer graphics.
It's the
computer-generated CG.
Mishima, I think. But anyway, it's the corporation thing that kind of a lot of the thing centers around. It doesn't seem to mention the Iron Fist tournament very much. Like, that doesn't seem to take part. They seem to talk about an Iron Fist tournament, but then cancel it, and it didn't happen. So I don't really know what's going on.
Hang on. It's part of the problem that someone in Bandai Namkai.
Oh, we confirmed by a bag that it is Bandai Namkai. Bandai
Namkai, fantastic.
Bandai Namco.
No, except Bandai Namkai. Thus it shall be forevermore. So, isn't part of the problem is someone is trying to convince themselves that there's a really involved plot and storyline here, and it's actually just a load of old and they're trying to dress mutton as lamb, and that's why the whole single-player story falls to pieces, because it's a complete narrative mess.
But also, like, they don't include more than half of the people in the game in the main story. Now, Injustice 2 didn't do that recently, but still seem to do it a little bit better than this does. And the one thing that they've got there that's...
I like Tekken Liberties.
The Tekken Liberties. The one thing that they've got there that's reasonably okay...
I heard that facepalm.
Yeah, she is actually facepalm. The one thing that they got there that is actually okay is the fact that for each character that doesn't feature, after you complete the main storyline of the game, you can go in and complete a different kind of short story behind their motivation type thing. It's not much more than a little cutscene before and after the fight almost, but it does tell you the motivation of why that person was fighting and kind of what was going on with them a bit.
So in 30 seconds or less, Tim.
Yep.
Why should I give a rat's ass about Tekken 7?
Because it's nice to see Tekken coming back, and I don't know if you saw, but they recently announced that as DLC they are doing Tekken Bowl, which I am way interested in and really quite happy
Seriously,
about.
They're bringing Tekken Bowl back.
Yes.
Amazing.
Amazing sports. But yeah, as I said, the single player content goes a bit off. Coleman and I had quite a lot of fun, or I may have had more fun than Coleman, I'm not sure, but in the kind of multiplayer and bashing through that a little bit, and playing through the single player was fun. Like, the actual fighting game is fun, and it gives you... like, not a massive amount of single-player content to do, but definitely enough to keep you entertained in what you're doing, and it presents it quite well, and it's got a nice mix of characters that all play quite well. So, as I said, the base fighting game in there is really quite enjoyable, and if you're looking for it for a multiplayer experience and are not too bothered about the story in the game, then it's okay. I do think Coleman's been spoiled in recent years with Injustice and... Mortal Kombat being really good stories in fighting games, but they really raised the bar for that a little bit. But as I said, still really enjoyable from just the whole fighting game engine aspect and all that type of things.
Well done, Tim. That was the world's longest review of It's basically the same as the previous Tekken games, but it's got some new bits in it. Alex!
Hi.
Hi,
Okay.
Alex!
Is this the place where I get to talk?
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Yes,
Well-
do that.
Okay, fine. So the one that we both played was That's You, which is
That's you!
No,
No,
that's you.
that's you.
That's you!
Yeah, okay. That joke is a little bit old.
No, that's you.
But it's a party game for, what is it, Playlink?
Playlink is the new tech thing.
Yeah. And I guess they're jumping on the whole... Like, you know the name on the whole... What's the name of the...
Jackbox?
Yeah,
Jackbox,
so thank you.
yeah.
So I guess they're jumping on the whole Jackbox thing. So they're doing sort of the same, but it's only maximum 6 players from what we could see. And the idea is that you get questions and you basically pitch your players kind of against what they think that they would react. So if you say, who out of these people would be into... I don't know, pineapples. And then everyone votes.
Coleman.
Yes, exactly. And then you vote for who you think would be into pineapples. And whoever gets the most answers, those players who chose that person would get the points. And then they do a variation on this. So then you would say, what would the person say? Or you can finish
I
the
like
line.
pineapples and my name is Coleman.
I think there's two major distinguishable differences between this and what I've seen from the Jackbox offerings, though.
That's an interesting point. But let your wife talk, Timothy.
No, one point.
But yeah, the two major differences. One, the fact that it's not your answer that you're voting on, but you kind of vote for what you think is going to be the most popular answer.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to be the funniest in the room. You just need to know like what got the best reaction from the people in the room. So it plays a bit differently to some of the Jackbox. The other thing, and the thing I think is actually adds another dimension to it, is the fact that it integrates the use of photographs as well. And that's really quite
go
good fun.
horrendously wrong.
Well, it could, yes.
Yeah.
That is a ginormous Uno-sized problem they've got there.
Right, okay, but this is more for people you're playing in the same room with, so they're not going to get away with taking a dick pic quite as easily.
No, trust me, someone will at some point.
Somebody probably will at some point, yes. But yeah, I mean, for now, it's something we messed around with and had fun with, and I quite like that aspect. It's
Just
also
to be clear, they messed around with that shoe, not Tim's dick.
Yes.
Okay?
Not my
Just
dick
to be clear.
But,
I mean, you're a married couple, do what you will in the privacy of your own home. That's absolutely fine, but please don't record it for posterity. That's just no need.
From what I played, it has two downsides compared to the Jackbox set, and why I prefer the
Again, that's you, listeners. That's you.
Yes,
okay.
that's you. The game.
Not me. I have more than two downsides.
Yes, he does. But number one is that for this one, you actually have to download a full-blown app onto your phone, whereas Jackbox, you just go into a browser and type a couple things in and you're in. But no, you have to download the browser. And the second thing, you've got... I mean, Jackbox stuff has narrator, but this narrator can get particularly annoying because he not only kind of like, this is the round right now, and this is the theme, and this is what you have to do. No, he also keeps telling you, like, stories that are supposed to be fun, and I guess they are kind of fun the first time round, but if you played it multiple times, they're gonna get annoying so very quick.
Okay, I require some literary masterpieces being injected into my face head. Can you retell one of these stories to me?
No, they're all like really weird kind of, and Bob thinks he likes fish kind of thing. They're not like proper stories. They're just kind of like anecdotes that kind of follow on from what he said in the round type thing.
Can I just say, Bob likes fish is a really good anecdote.
Best story ever.
Wow, that's great. Thanks, mate, for that. Jesus.
I'm going to go write a kid's book called Bob Likes Fish and make £1 million. But anyway.
You probably could, actually.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely thought it was fun and it's something we could mess around and have fun with, but I thought this game was a little bit on the limited side, and I'm glad they kind of gave it away for free because then there's nothing to really complain about. But for me, this seems like a really interesting piece of tech that I'm more keen to see what they go on and do with next. Like the hidden agenda one that's coming from Supermassive Games, I'm really keen to see how that works, basically.
So it's like the whole USP of this is kind of the underlying, is essentially the app you download to your phone, because that's what your PlayStation communicates with, right?
Yeah. And well, that's the thing. I mean, Tim had lots of problems trying to connect his phone with the PlayStation game. But it's
bloody
Tim.
surprise. What a surprise.
First game, absolutely no problem. Second game, like midway through, it just dropped me for seemingly no reason. And I've got like similar phones to everyone else. And then it just... you
were the one. You were the one in front of the phone.
But it took me like 3 rounds. It took me like 3 rounds of the game to reconnect. So by that time, I'd got so far behind in the score that it wasn't really worth me being there, type of thing. So yeah, it's a bit.
Didn't.
But generally, as I said, like for a little bit of thing, I thought it was quite good fun, and I actually think that even though I had problems with it, and that's hopefully something they'll work out, I think downloading an app might be less prone to problems going forward than having to have a steady internet connection the whole time, sort of thing, though.
Yeah, fair enough.
Probably.
But surely you have to get your phones talking to the PlayStation somehow.
Well, you can actually get your PlayStation to act as a Wi-Fi hotspot as well and connect that way.
There we go.
So I might try that next time rather than doing how we did through because otherwise you just go through the same router that your console's connected to, basically.
But then I guess you absolutely have to play these games with people in the room. You won't be able to, like a quick flash, have someone outside contributing, because you would need to be connected to PS4.
I didn't think you could do that in Quick Flash. Oh, yeah, you can just give the code away to anyone.
Quick Flash can be anywhere. That's the beauty of Quick Flash.
It doesn't work particularly well. I remember One Extra Life, me and Kev tried to play it. It might be because it was 4 o'clock in the morning.
Nothing works well at 4 o'clock in the morning on Extra Life.
Well... Again, too much information, guys. That's great. That's great, and this has been a good session. I think we've made some great progress today. We've got some understanding,
Right.
which is lovely.
And I'm afraid I think you're going to have to save the rest of your games for Geek Speak, my love, because we are running short on time.
But just tell us what they are, because I think it's worth mentioning, because PlayStation Plus has got some great stuff this month, hasn't it,
That's
Alex?
You was on PlayStation Plus this month as well.
Yeah.
As well as
Until Dawn, which is an absolute must-get.
Brilliant game.
Yes, and then Telltale's Game of Thrones, which is possibly not.
But not bad for free, and they might have fixed it by now.
Well, no, it's still got Peter Dinklage's video voice game acting.
Peter Dinklage,
Video game voice acting, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Him and voice acting just does not go well.
It is actually funny because he's one of the worst in the game. Now that I think about it, out of all the even side voice actors, not the proper Game of Thrones cast, but he's probably the worst. He sounds the most wooden.
What would be brilliant is if they just replaced him with Nona North.
In Game of Thrones
Destiny. Just completely just do it on the download. That'd be amazing.
Nice.
So anyway, I mean, we are going to be resurrecting the Great Rich Debate properly, but I don't think we have a topic for this week.
I do have a topic, but I don't think we have time to go through it, so I will save the topic for next week.
You saved that topic. But listeners, if you do have any suggestions for topics, do drop by the BigRedBarel forums, BRB UK little section, and let us know what you'd like to have a large debate about, and we shall promptly. So anyway, Timothy, Tuesday's Tuesday. Tell me about Tuesdays.
Tuesday is a Tuesday, and before I launch into this Tuesdays-ness of excellentness, one really cool piece of news, Dan, you will like this as well. This is the furthest a podcast listener has travelled to come to Tabletop Tuesday. The record has been broken. Was previously Germany.
Right.
And although arguably we've had someone come back from China, they were there the first before and then came back. So that's a bit different. But this is a podcast listener that came all the way from California to come listen to us. And
Holy
they're
Christ!
And they are a podcast listener of both the BRB UK show and of Geek Speak, so they knew both of us to come say hello to both me and Alex.
Wowza!
And it's a little bit of a cheat because their daughter was graduating from university in Hendon, my old stomping grounds. So he came along. But yeah, just a big, massive thank you and a shout out to Todd and family who I got to meet this week. Who came along to last week's Tabletop Tuesday. I believe they're hoping to return next week as well. They're doing a bit of a thing around the UK this week, and then they're coming hopefully back to Tabletop Tuesday next week as well. But yeah, just that was just a really nice way to start the night. Someone coming up and saying that was really quite cool. And I don't know about you, Dan. It still amazes me that our listeners are actual real people. I know thousands of people do listen to us every week, and thank you very much if you are one of us, but it still weirds me out every time I actually meet a new one. I'm like, oh yeah, you're real people. I forget, not just download numbers. But I don't think of you as a number. I think of you as free people, and thank you very much, one and all. But yeah, as I said, that was just a nice way to start the night.
Hey, fun fact though, Tim.
Yes?
If you want to instantly win that I came furthest to Tabletop Tuesday, do you know where you got to come from?
Space?
No, Dunedin, New Zealand. That is the furthest city from London. It's 19,000 kilometres away.
Okay,
so
anyone in New Zealand that lives in that town, come visit us. You will hold the record probably forever until aliens visit us.
And, if you come from Nuku'alofa in Tonga, that's 16,000.
That's pretty
still
far
pretty good.
as well.
And you win bonus points for being from Tonga, in my opinion.
But that's all good. Right. We have to get on to this week's Tabletop Tuesday because this week is going to be a real stonker. It is the last week in our series of video game based board and card games. And this week is not only a massive game, but a really good game and a really cool one to end on. This week we have the huge box of Dark Souls, the board game.
I have a question.
Yes?
Does this game just repeatedly give you paper cuts because it hates you?
I like the fact that...
like the actual video game.
You'll like this as well, Dan. As soon as you open the box, the first thing you see is a sheet of paper that just says, you died. I like that.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
But yeah, I'm sure fans of the video game will be interested in this. I know fans of board gaming in general will be. So it was a massively successful Kickstarter when it came out, and yeah, it's not that old as well. And we've got it for the bar. There will be one in the bar's collection going there, so you can play it even if you can't make it this Tuesday. But if you come along this Tuesday and play, you get a chance to win a copy of the game. It's literally in physical size terms and in price value terms, it is one of the biggest prizes we have ever given away at Tabletop Tuesday, basically. I think only Doom kind of rivals it for size and cost. But yeah, also...
My God, you can actually buy storage boxes for it.
Yes, because it's got a massive amount of really nice minis in as well. Like, it's got like mini boss miniatures and like actual big boss miniatures as well, but they all look really quite impressive. But yeah, anyone that's familiar with the video game will kind of instantly know a lot of the characters that are in there and stuff like that. It really does take it from that. And it seems to be a quite faithful recreation of the video game, to the point where people that were already fans of the video game seem to like the board game more than people that weren't. But anyway, yeah, it's a massive game, a massive prize. And on top of that, not only are we already doing a competition where you can win that game, but also anyone that's taken part in our series of video game events, including next week, you get to actually possibly win a BigRedBarel bag of video game goodies on top of that as well. It includes mostly t-shirts, some video games, and some other bits and bobs, and also kindly supplied by Bandai Namco and Numskull last week. They also added a Tekken 7 hoodie and baseball cap to the mix as well. And that's on top of all the stuff we had already. So we have a massive game that you can win, and a massive bag of goodies you can win on top of that as well, basically.
Do you know what's also massive?
What is also massive? Patches?
Jungle.
Oh, Dan, you may not have seen my tweet from today, but I saw a smart car covered in grass and it said "R patch" on the side of it. I took a photo and said, "This is what a massive patch looks like in real life." You have to see that tweet on my timeline. Anyway, but
Jungle is also massive.
Jungle is also massive.
Jungle
what is also
massive.
Massive is this week's prize that you can win just by coming along and trying out the game on the evening. You could possibly win yourself a copy of Dark Souls, the board game, and possibly win a massive bag of goodies. So yeah, there is literally, at least for prize worthy sakes, never been a better week to come along to Tabletop Tuesday. If you've been using excuses not to get there, now is the time to put those excuses to one side and to come join us.
So that's Tabletop Tuesday, 18th of July, Loading Bar in Dalston.
And if you need more details and you can't be bothered to write things down or remember that, if you come to BigRedBarel, the details are on the top left-hand side. We are also Tabletop Tuesday on meetup.com, so you can get details on either of those places.
Splendid. Well, that is your lot, ladies and gentlemen. Not before we say thank you to a couple of people, however. From iTunes, we're going to thank nobody, because nobody left us a review.
Nobody loves us, Dan.
No.
Or at least not on iTunes.
They don't. No. Well, they do in the forums. And I'd like to say thank you to Stealthy Joe, Stingo, Richard Kirk, and The Q.
Also, on Twitter, I'd like to thank Gabrielle Romo, Mark Fawcett, Spencer H., what did he provided something for us this week. Oh, he provided a link to the game news, but we'd already kind of put it on the agenda, but thank you anyway for bringing it to our attention. Always grateful. Also, Blizzy, we've got to mention, it was the
why you love the pigeon
other person that we played That's You with. Just for record's sake. And also a big thank you to Nelly, as always. You are wonderful and a great supporter and fan of the podcast, so thank you.
And on Facebook, big thank yous to William Loth and Heather Poply.
Hey, thank you guys. Yes, so that's all the lovely people who came and said hello to us. We do appreciate the interaction with people from the outside world. It's quite nice. But generally, just go to anything on the internet and put /BigRedBarel after it and just see what happens. Is pretty much the way forward, I reckon. But that is genuinely it. We have run out of time, so we're going to get out of here. We have. So, yeah, Alex, thanks for showing up, mate.
Thanks for letting me speak for the whole 5 minutes. I'm joking.
I blame your husband.
So do I.
Yeah, good. Glad we agree on that.
You don't even defend me.
When did I ever?
No.
That's true.
Yeah, you're kidding yourself, mate. I would have thought you would have cottoned on to this after a couple of years, but no. So anyway, Alex, thank you ever so much for coming. And if people want to hear more from you, because Tim isn't in the same podcast, where can they listen to you?
They can go to www.BigRedBarel.com and click on the Geek Speak link to listen to that Geek Speak podcast where I'm on. And I actually do talk on that one, believe it or not. And we talk about all the geeky stuff we've been up to for the week. Some of them recent, some of them not so, but most of them are awesome.
Mm-hmm. Always awesome.
Check it out. So there's nothing really left for us apart from I have been Dan.
I might have been Alex's husband.
Yep, glad to see you're self-defining in the correct and Alex-approved manner. That's excellent. And Alex, who are you?
I've been contemplating a divorce. I'm joking.
Excellent. Good. Well, and I know I've already said it, but that's all we have time for this session.
Glad you added the templating to the end, because that didn't sound right. Anyway.
I have some urge to end this podcast, so we're going to end the podcast. Thank you ever so much for listening, and until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
You and your ears are quite welcome.
For the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
To BigRedBarel.com.
for more podcasts?
News, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarel.com.
Butts?
She snuck her butts in, Dan. She snuck her butts in.
Moist.
No, stop. The yellow
Moist
button.
butts.
The yellow button.
He's still talking.
Moist.
Well, we don't need to be talking.
butts.
He can
Moist.
continue talking, and we can
Coleman,
stop
should I
talking.
stop? You won't be able to tell me this
stop,
now,
Tim,
but
for
I
the
will
love of
stop
God.
now.
Stop. Yes, the yellow button.
Oh yeah, let's pause.